So for those of you who are just joining us, you are here for the CosmoQuest Hangout-a-thon. We will be spending, that's the wrong keyboard, we will be spending 40 hours raising money to keep our science going for one more year, to keep our science education programs going for one more year. And it's an entire team that makes this happen. And part of that team is going to be our next guest. A lot of people don't realize how many different programs we have going on here at CosmoQuest. We, of course, do the citizen science that so many of you have been a part of. But in addition to that, we also do a variety of podcasts: Astronomy Cast, 365 Days of Astronomy, The Daily Space. And it's all of these different podcasts that allow people, no matter what their schedule is, to fit astronomy into their lives. And this is what brings me to our guest. And I'm going to go ahead and switch screens. And there, you're up on camera, Avivah. Good evening. Can you tell everyone where on the planet you're currently located?
Hello, Pamela.
Hi.
Hello. Good morning to you. It's night here, 10:06 p.m. So I'm in Indonesia. It's in another part of the world, another part from your country.
You are basically a half turn away in both directions. And the geometry of where we are in the world makes it possible for you to see a annular eclipse. Now, how many eclipses or partial eclipses have you gotten to see so far?
Okay, partial eclipse, I guess, when I was a child is like one, and then another one when I was in a university. But this is the second annular eclipse that I will try to catch. The first one is 1 decade ago in 2009 during the International Year of Astronomy.
And then you also had a big eclipse in 2016.
Yes, 2016. It's a total eclipse, and it's a total eclipse by the cloud.
Oh, so I have to admit I am nonetheless jealous of you because as many people in our audience are aware, every attempt I've ever made to view a solar eclipse, every single attempt has been clouded out. I saw someone joking that my luck with rocket launches runs the same, but I will tell all of you out there, I have seen 3 different rocket launches. It's just the eclipses that hate my guts. Um, Now, you live in a nation where educational levels vary greatly from place to place. Jakarta is one
Yeah.
of the mega cities of the world with high tech everything, and I think people know how to use their cell phones better there than here because everything is mobile enabled. But the annular eclipse touches places that aren't Jakarta. So what are you doing as you're out on
Well,
a different island?
okay. As for me, we will go to Borneo Island. It's Kalimantan. Maybe you know that island more as Borneo Island. So we will go to the Singkawang city. We will have a public outreach session with the people in Singkawang. And aside than us, we have the space agency also working with the local government. They will have a eclipse, eclipse festivals, and then they will also have, I guess, observations and seminars prior to the solar eclipse. And then we also have several other institute and community goes to Sumatra Island. There are I have so basically we have the greatest eclipse will happen in Siak, Sumatra. There will be a festivals and also public outreach observations, and I guess they want to break a record, some record for observations with the most solar eclipse glasses, something like that. And then also several other islands, small island. We have the Jakarta Planetarium, the biggest planetarium here. They will go there too, with the Amateur Astronomy Club from Jakarta. So here, uh, the public outreach mostly running by the astronomy community. In total, I actually prepared the map for each community observation area. So right now we have 48 locations with different group will conduct the solar eclipse observations and also seminars, some workshop as well. So we
Now,
try to reach more people, not only in annular path, but also in the partial eclipse part area as well.
now, uh, you don't just organize by word of mouth or Facebook group as so many of us here in the US do. You run amazing WhatsApp groups. A lot of our audience here in the US doesn't actually know the true power of WhatsApp. Can you talk a little bit about all the stuff that you do with WhatsApp?
Okay, yeah. Indonesia, they love WhatsApp. I mean, the people here, they love WhatsApp. So WhatsApp, it's not only for chatting. I mean, for regular chatting, like like chit chat for yeah, daily life or something like that, but also for work. For work, so they sending document and everything in the chat group, in the WhatsApp group. So here we have many different WhatsApp group for astronomy community as well, and also to organize the entire year of International Astronomical Union 100 years, everything by WhatsApp. So we share. Usually, we share the link. The For our group, we share the link of our articles, but mostly the young people nowadays, they don't really read something long. I mean, a long article, they don't really read it. So we usually share the infographic by WhatsApp, and then they reshare the infographics, and it can reach many people because here we have many people with mobile phone. They online by mobile phone. Maybe I'm a little bit uh, old style because I prefer something in my laptop or my desktop.
The
But
keyboard is so much easier to
yes,
use, but
yes,
WhatsApp you can
indeed.
run on your computer. That's how I
Yes.
admit I use it.
So here, WhatsApp and also Line, both are the great, the most, the highest chat messengers that people use here to share the informations, not just science, but also political things and something like that, because it become very popular while the presidential elections, and also for the astronomical events and astronomical hoax like flat earth or something like, yeah, everything. So we usually have many hoax, astronomy hoax from the WhatsApp group, and also from social media like Facebook, because here Facebook also the number one used by by people here. So we usually receive all the headlines and the like short message about um, false informations about eclipse or about meteor impact or something like that.
Now, we
And
deal with
I mean, sorry, Pamela, not just receiving the information, but we use the information, and we provide the right informations in our website, and also sharing it as an infographic in a WhatsApp group.
now, uh I'm tweeting out right now that we are
Okay.
live with you. There's
Oh, I'm sorry.
back channel stuff going on. So if you see me looking around, that's what's going on. So um, go check out the tweet that was from our volunteer group, Weekly Space Hangout Crew, WSH Crew, or retweeted by me, Star Strider. We have a picture of the amazing Indonesian eclipse glasses, which is why I was working so hard to get that shared. Uh, now, you and I spend more time than we probably ever expected when we chose this career trying to deal with faulty beliefs, misinformation, crazy people. Uh, One of the conversations we've had quite often is trying to figure out how many of the people who say flat earth actually believe it versus are just trolls. What what are some of the things you deal with on a daily basis working on the internet to spread astronomy?
Well, excuse me. Can you repeat your questions? I lost
Sorry.
your.
So what are some of the misinformation, the myths, crazy beliefs that you end up dealing with on the internet?
Okay. Well, I have a lot. Starting, we okay. My group here in Indonesia started in 2007. By the
Hmm.
time we start this group, we have um, false informations, misinformations about geocentrism versus heliocentrism. So by that time, there was a book that said that they have a proof that the Earth not orbiting the sun, but the sun orbiting the Earth. So heliocentrism versus geocentrism, and I think this is the one that we all facing the the Mars hoax. Mars will be as big as the moon, I guess, every August or something. The one that I think it
Yeah.
started in 2003
Yes.
for the
When
Mars
when
opposition.
the when Mars was so close, it was the
Yes,
closest that it would be to Earth for decades on either side.
yeah,
And this all comes down to like a mistake in a telescope advertisement, I think, where someone said that um the moon would appear at the Mars would appear as
yeah.
large as the full moon through this
Through
telescope lens.
telescope. Yes, exactly. And we still have these informations up until now, and
Yes.
also the 2012 doomsday, and also the eclipse doomsday. I think the one with the four the tetrad lunar eclipse, I guess. Yeah, we have these misinformations that during because of the tetrad lunar eclipse we will have like a disaster or something, and then the 2015 total eclipse, our website received one of the highest statistic. I mean, the highest page views because people looking for informations that are we gonna die, and is it the end of the world because the 2015 solar eclipse is it's happened during the Jewish days, or yeah, new moon or something. I don't really remember it, but it's one of the thing that we face every day. And then the idea that the um, wait a minute, the flat Earth in 2016 up to 2000 early 2018. Right now, I don't really know if it's still something big or not, but actually, we end up seeing that people who believe this most probably after discussions aside than the faith issues they come up with, but we see it as as a problem in educations, in the basic educations, when the students they here students mostly encouraged to memorize everything.
Yeah.
So it's the problem with the logical thinking, building the scientific mind. Something that we need to work on it.
And this is where it gets challenging in so many of the school systems around the world. And CosmoQuest is a global community. We have folks like you who work in other nations. We have citizen scientists all around the world. We have other podcast hosts in Australia, South Africa, Canada. And with the 365 Days of Astronomy program, which you've been directing for a number of years and is how we met through the International
Yes.
Year of Astronomy, um, we're finding over and over the same problems in so many different places, and it seems to keep falling back on the we have all these tests, people have to pass all of these tests, and so they memorize to pass the tests, and that's not the same thing as getting out and playing in the dirt and learning through experimentation. um, it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's exciting because we keep meeting new people, we keep facing the new problem, and we are and it challenges us to find a new way to overcome the problems, to solve the problems. And one thing that I like from the 365 Days of Astronomy that I work on for years, I think it's since 2012 when we met in, no, no, 2011, right? When we met in China. I love audio because um, it's we can listen to it while we doing we did other things, and then it also um, help us to try to imagine the content. It's not something like the visual thing that we can see and then maybe we forgot about it, but it's me. Not everyone will forget what they see, but for me, audio is it's like it's inspired me to understand much better than watching something. That's
and
why I
and
really
at the
like it.
and at this moment, I'd like to pause and do a station identification for those of you just tuning in. You are watching CosmoQuest's 2019 Hangout-a-thon. We will be bringing you science, science guests, science communicators, art, music, and more across 40 hours as we try to raise $40,000. We are now behind on our donations. Please get the word out. Help us find those people out there who keep saying, and you've seen them on your Twitters, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, who keep saying, why isn't there more money going to science? Well, this is your time to put actions behind those words. Give if you can afford it. Get the word out no matter what. Help us grow our audience, get more science into more people today, and raise the money that we need to raise in order to keep doing more science into the future. The funding that we raise today goes to fund not just our activities here on twitch.tv, where you see us providing live coverage of many rocket launches, space events, the Daily Space podcast, and so much more. It's also going to fund the work that Avivah does along with Richard Drum to do 365 Days of Astronomy. It goes to fund our citizen science activities. It goes to keep the science flowing. So please consider giving and get the word out. Go nag everyone you know on all your social medias, on your WhatsApp account. I'd like to thank Steve and DPI209 for the donations that have come in this hour. Thank you so much for that. And I am no longer alone. If you heard motion in the background, that was Annie settling in to set up. We will have help with the giveaways. And I am not Sook. I'm always talking to you. and everyone else out there in the audience. So we have now just given away. I will be doing a pastel drawing of a annular eclipse tomorrow morning. And that will be going out to one lucky winner. Not quite sure who won. Somebody please let me know and I will say thank you. And so can you tell us a little bit about this amazing podcast that you and Richard make sure goes out every single day?
Okay. 365 days of astronomy, as the name, it means we we air one podcast a day through the year, 365 days, and we have a lot of amazing podcasters. They share about their knowledge. They interview astronomer. They interview the astronomy communicator. And our podcaster is, I think I can say that it's a global podcaster because we have it's like Cheap Astronomy, Steve Nurley from Australia. We also have Alan from the Urban Astronomer from South Africa. We also have Jacinta. Wait, do I spell her name correctly? Uh,
I am
for
the
the
wrong
Savannah.
person to ask.
Okay. Savannah Astronomy. It's also from South Africa. We have podcaster from UK. We have podcast, yeah, Europe, UK. Wait, okay, I'm really bad with geography, but
It's all right.
we
UK is
have.
not part of Europe according to the UK, so you're good.
Okay. Okay, I don't want to have any communicators email me tomorrow about it.
No, you're
Uh,
good. You're good.
we practically have a podcaster from around the world. So, wait, well, maybe you can recognize it from the accent because it's different. Everyone is they has not everyone has native English as native language, and then some of them also sharing about their experience, which is really um, different from country to country. It's like a special case. We also have well, astronomy in a cultural. Yeah, the stories.
There's
I
folk
also,
tales,
yeah, the
cultural
folk tales.
events.
I also made a few podcasts with the Indonesian folklore stories, and it's. I mean, if anyone watching now they want to share their folklore in astronomy, we would love to hear it. So just submit and join us as a podcasters. And also we have a two different programs with Paul Matt the as astronom, yeah, as an astronomers, and also the space radio. We have astronomy cast with you and Fraser. We have weekly space hangout with so many astronomer and communicator as well. So basically, we have so many people willing to contribute to 365 days of astronomy, sharing not only their knowledge but also their experience doing astronomy in their career, or even it's just like a hobby. We have also amateur astronomers sharing their experience as well, and 101 about how to become how to start your astronomy hobby. So it's amazing. Okay,
And
it's
later
not
on,
fair. I'm the director, and then I said it's amazing, but it's really amazing.
it really is amazing. And we will be joined later during the Hangoutathon by Alan Versfeld,
Cool.
the urban astronomer.
Yes.
And it's really a great community. And getting to hear not just what's up in the sky, not just science, not just it's every day a little bit of something. Um, so it's your one place to essentially go and get a playlist of what's best in astronomy communications right now. So please check it out on iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts. It's the 365 Days of Astronomy podcast. Now, you live in a nation that has one of the smallest amounts of land and the largest amounts of area on the planet.
Yes.
And you're so close to the equator that when I first saw a telescope, it really confused me. Because I don't know how you polar align telescopes that close to the equator.
Well, I guess. Okay. I'm not the best person who can explain about polar alignment, but
No,
usually,
I'm not going to ask you about that. That would be mean. But
okay.
I do see the question in the chat of where you are. Do you get to see the Magellanic Clouds? Are they high enough up for you to see?
Pardon?
Can you see the large and small Magellanic Clouds?
I haven't seen it because I live in a city. I need to
Oh,
check. But I live in 6 degree below the equator,
mm-hmm.
so maybe I can say that crux is one of the the thing that I love.
so
Okay, I'm
so
not
there
really um I'm not really an observations person. I start okay. It's like I must say this. When I was in a university, I worked with the numerical problems. So
right.
basically, I'm a computational person, and
Yeah.
then when I doing this outreach, I start a new hobby, and it is an astronomy by observing the sky. So it's like a hobby started after I get my degree in astronomy, and this is online to the whole world. Oh my!
and
But yeah,
and that is okay. Coming from one of the most densely populated areas,
but
and
Pamela,
go ahead.
um, tomorrow I travel for the annular eclipse, and it's I will I will be at the equator, so I can tell more maybe in a podcast or something about what I can see in the equator.
That is excellent. That is absolutely excellent. And the density of people across the islands of Indonesia is really amazing. And I don't
Yeah.
imagine that there's hardly anywhere with truly dark skies. Um,
Well, the guys is another problem here, especially for the big cities,
yeah.
especially for the island I live in Java Island. It's the we have the highest light pollution, I guess. I mean, in Indonesia. But I
Yeah.
hope that Borneo Island they have less pollution, so maybe I can observe something and then take a picture of it.
It would be amazing. I know that Borneo has some of the highest biodiversity in the
Yes,
world, so you should get to see at least some cool critters while you are there.
I hope so.
Um, so you get to, like I do, travel the world doing astronomy. Uh, we have gathered together in so far China.
South Africa, the first one. The first time I met you in South Africa, Cape Town.
Right, South Africa. We were in Poland. I think we were in Warsaw.
Yes.
Um, we haven't been to North America yet together because visas are challenging and politics are more
Yes.
challenging. When you went into astronomy, did you know you'd be seeing the world while you studied the universe?
To be honest, no. I never thought that I will travel around the world. I mean, from and meet so many people. So when I was in high school, I thought that I'm going to do some natural. I will pursue natural science and then maybe become a scientist working somewhere here in Indonesia, but I never see that I will. Uh, um, when I choose astronomy, and then I graduate from astronomy, take uh, I never. I still thinking that maybe I can pursue something in extrasolar planet because that was what I did in my for my thesis. And then I start a blog with friends. We had a magazine just what in 2004 we published a magazine, the one and only, and then I mean it's just one editions, and then we never publish it anymore because so many problems. But we changed our service to the online service, and I start the astronomy uh, communicator career in this from the blog, I guess. Well, WordPress helped me, and then International Year Astronomy. I travel. I think that's the momentum that makes me goes around the world because without um, join the International Year of Astronomy as one of the cosmic diary blogger and also being active from Indonesia, I don't think that I can go around the world just like now. Well, meeting you and everyone else is something that I have to say that I learned a lot from you all.
And it's mutual. We all learn together, working together, and this way of traveling the world is necessitated in part by how few of us there are globally. And so if we do want to work face to face, we do have to travel. But we have the internet, so we can keep things going once we've met. We just need to
Yes.
meet initially. Now, with solar eclipses, we see people travel the world to view solar eclipses. And you saw this back in 2016 where
Yeah.
it felt like half of America's astronomical community went to Indonesia as a dress rehearsal
Yes.
for our 2017. Um, with the eclipse coming up tomorrow, it's as you've pointed out before, it's an annular eclipse. But I don't know if everyone out in our audience knows what an annular eclipse is. Can you explain it?
Oh, annular eclipse is a it's the solar eclipse when the okay. I will. I hope I'm not really bad with my English for these astronomical things.
No,
So
you're doing
solar
fine,
eclipse.
and I'm grabbing planets to use as
Okay, thank you.
props.
So solar eclipse is when the moon is like it always happens in a new moon when the moon is between the sun and the earth, and the moon blocks the sunlight. But the for the annular eclipse, it when the moon is at the farthest from the earth, so the the how to say it the moon will
The outer
the,
edge.
the
I
moon
picked a
will be
moon that was too.
it will be smaller than the sun, so we can still see when the moon pass um, between the sun and the earth, it will we can still see the sun as a ring. So that's why we have the annular eclipse, and
So
the
it's
annular
all a
path
function of distance.
distance,
So
yes, because
you can see my
the moon
fake sun.
it orbiting the earth in um
It's
elliptical
further
orbit.
away. So the
So
camera
yes,
right now is the Earth. And if the moon
okay,
is closer to the Earth, it appears bigger in the sky and completely blocks the sun. But if the moon is further away, it
further
appears
away.
smaller, allowing some of the sun to appear. And I needed a bigger sun than the one I had.
Yeah,
But
I okay.
I'm going
I,
to stick my Galilean moons back on the Christmas tree.
but for the annular eclipse, it I think not many foreigner will come to Indonesia because the better part of the world that can see the annular eclipse will be in in Arab, I guess,
Right.
because here in Indonesia it's the rainy season, so the the cloud coverage will be high, and I hope it's not raining.
I hope so too. That would be
the weather
terrible.
for the weather forecast said that it will be uh lightning thunder or something. I don't
Yeah.
want that to happen because
Well, so the next big eclipse we're going to have here in the United States is in 2024. And
okay.
I had originally hoped that you could join us in 2017, but the politics of things at the time were such that that just wasn't going to be possible. I
Uh,
hold out hopes that in 2024 I can invite you to the US to see an eclipse here. And
that
if
would be
not, maybe we'll
great.
just go to Canada together.
Yes, let's do it. About one thing about traveling around the world that I found out, it's not easy to get visa from Indonesia,
No, it's
especially to US. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really. I'm a little bit avoid. Uh, it's not only one country, but visa processing is really it's taking like more than 2 weeks for for example, because I usually went to Europe, it's 14 working days.
right.
And for me, who lives outside Jakarta, yeah, it's taking time. It's traveling time.
And this is one thing that folks out there need to understand is all of these different immigration policies and visa policies, they aren't just affecting people who are trying to come and live in Europe and America. They're also affecting scientists and other business professionals who are trying to travel to do their jobs.
Yeah.
And so while it would be super easy if I weren't doing a 40-hour stream and didn't not have money, it would be super easy for me paperwork wise to go to Indonesia for the annular eclipse. The reverse isn't so easy. So these are some of the consequences that we deal with our modern world. But folks like Avivah are working with CosmoQuest to make it possible for us to be part of all of these events. Um, I know where you are. You've been worried about the internet. Are you going to try and live stream any of the annular eclipse?
Let's see if I can do the live streams. I will tell you.
Okay.
Because the initial plan that we will have a live streaming, but
Hmm.
right now I need to know the internet connections in our venue first before we decide everything.
Okay.
And actually, we will observe the annular eclipse at a resort in Singkawang.
Okay.
So with the people there, because we it's a holiday season, so it's a little bit hard to arrange something with the schools during the holiday. And the
That
next
is
total
challenging.
eclipse here in Indonesia will be in 2023. Maybe you can
Okay.
come.
I would love to. I was able to visit you once before, and I am still in awe of the amazing food, the amazing humans. I should have said that in the opposite order, but the food is always what comes to mind first, because it's some of the best food I've had in the world. Um, a spider as big as my hand at the Bangdong Observatory. Just an orb weaver, completely harmless, but as big as my hand in a web that was like bigger than me. It's a beautiful nation, and it's where I learned that pineapples grow on the ground in small plants. I don't know where I thought they grew, but apparently in my 40s when I learned how pineapples grow. Uh, so I'm going to switch this awkward part of the Hangout-a-thon back to a station identification. For those of you just tuning in, you are watching CosmoQuest's 40-hour Hangout-a-thon. Our guest this hour is Avivah Yamani, the project director for the 365 Days of Astronomy podcast, which is now entering its second decade. We turn 11 on January 1, and we're going to keep going as long as the content keeps coming. But to make this possible, we need help from you. If you enjoy this program and others produced by CosmoQuest, please consider giving. No donation is too small. Please consider trying to define one that is too big. We would appreciate that. I hate begging for money. I do it awkwardly. I'm sorry. We have door prizes, we have guests, we have art, we have music. All these things will be happening in the next 40 hours. I'm not seeing any new donations. Please get more coffee. Check your checkbook. That sounds horrible. I hate begging for money. I'm so awkward at it. Anyways, let's keep all of these programs going. We just gave away 2 pieces of solar filter that you can use to make solar filters for various devices. And I see that we have a few questions in the chat. Avivah, is it monsoon season there?
Pardon? Yeah,
Is it monsoon season?
I have to check that first because I don't really check the weather.
Okay.
I think I always know it's rainy seasons or not.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm really sorry.
So it is the rainy season now.
Yes, it is the
Okay.
rainy season for this the west part of Indonesia, but for the east part it should be the dry seasons. So
Yeah. So you are cursed with rain right now. Okay, so there's another question in here. What percentage of the moon makes an annular eclipse rather than a total? Do you know how much of the sun is going to be visible tomorrow?
99. The obscurations will be 94%.
Okay, so there will be basically 2% all the way around the edges visible.
Yes.
So it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just, it will require everyone out there to keep their solar glasses on the entire time, which is a bit sad.
Yes. Then and also we need to share information on how to use I mean how to choose the solar filter because there is not an idea, but there is some informations that you can use negative film. Not some something. It's a misinformation actually because you need to have the new one and then expose it and use it as the filter, not something that you have image on it.
Right. And that's just because where the image is, it won't be dark enough.
Yes. Because I think the problem is on different generations because the person who write this one is the young people who never seen the negative film. They never use that kind of camera, so they don't really understand what is exposed to the sun. So they think they need to put it out in the sun for a few hours and then it gets burned or something.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. There is the most amusingly linked giveaway going on right now For any of you who grew up with the Dark Crystal, you know that there is an eclipse during this Jim Henson Muppet style movie that plays a major role in the plot, and that's all I'm going to say. Well, we currently have, in celebration of this eclipse, a Dark Crystal giveaway going on. It is a great movie, Paranor. It is a great movie. And there is a new Dark Crystal series that is out on Netflix. There's so many streaming
Yeah.
services. One of the streaming services has the new Dark Crystal series. Um, I lost my train of thought. Uh, so what are the things you are looking forward to getting to do in the coming year with the 365 Days of Astronomy podcast?
I hope we can have more new podcasters with diverse topics because currently we have so many coverage about the news roundup. I hope that more cultural things in astronomy and also maybe 101 guiding for it's like not an astronomy class, but maybe a short 101 about uh, how to become an astronomer or how to do astrophotography or because people nowadays they love their smartphone. Maybe it's about how to do astrophotography with the smartphone, something like that. Something
And
more
people are
practical.
starting to do really cool stuff with their cell
Yes,
phones.
exactly. So maybe they can share it with us. And
And this is our invitation to all of you out there watching who are amateur astronomers, science fiction writers who have an interest in astronomy, just people who have something to share about your passion. One of my favorite episodes of 365 Days of Astronomy actually comes from our first year. And it has yet to be replaced because I laughed so hard listening to this episode. It was Mike Simonson he used to be with the American Association of Variable Star Observers. And he was talking about how, as a child, he and some of his buddies decided to try and recreate the Apollo mission using the attic as their capsule, including having a 5-gallon bucket with a large trash bag in it as their bio waste disposal system, their space toilet. Except it was the summer and it was an attic and it got a bit hot. And they eventually realized they could no longer stand being in the same room as their space toilet. And in the process of doing their EVA to get out of their vehicle in the attic, they dropped the trash bag of waste and made things so much worse. These kinds of ridiculous stories, told well, um, of our passions for space shared, make for amazing episodes. And I challenge you to replace that story in my mind as my favorite episode of all time. Do you have a favorite episode, or are all children loved equally?
well, I I can't I can't say which one is my favorite because it's unfair. But actually, I do remember one podcast that I like. It's from a kid in Australia.
Uh-huh.
So I want to say that this 365 days of astronomy. It's not the podcast is not only by adult but also by teenagers, and I I guess we have one teenagers in Europe. I totally forgot the country, and then the other one is a kids in Australia. It's very interesting to listen on how they explain basic things in astronomy in their own language. And yes, we have space groups, but still, it's by us. I mean, we did the narrations and doing the podcast, but if we if there are more children or more teenagers who love astronomy, they want to share their hobby, their knowledge, we are welcoming. We are waiting for you. Okay. And well, I actually like everything because I learned many things from them, especially from cheap astronomy. Uh,
Yes, cheap astronomy does excellent stuff.
yeah.
That is a person, not a disparaging remark. Um, so as this hour winds down, if people want to join 365 Days of Astronomy, how can they get involved?
Well, they can visit our website in 365daysofastronomy.org, and then there is a link to join in, or you can support us. We have the link as well. If you want to support us and have Pamela voice uh, reading your message, you can choose the well, the link is there. You can choose it, and Pamela will read anything you want. Right, Pamela?
Yes. So we do have a sponsorship program for 365 Days of Astronomy. If you would like to sponsor a specific episode, um, I will read your messaging on the air. And we are moving to rely on our patrons at patreon.com/365
Yes.
Days of Astronomy more and more. So there's a lot of ways to help, and we can only make this possible with your help. So please consider giving. And folks don't need any fancy equipment, do they? Avivah, people don't need to have a fancy
Yes.
microphone or
Oh,
anything, do
okay.
they?
Sorry, I I missed that one. Yeah, no, no. You can record your podcast with your own smartphone, or just using your regular earphone. You can record it on your computer, so it's easy. No need to worry about the quality because Rick will do everything uh, on his best to make it really good.
Yeah. So we have an editor, we have a project director, and with your donations, all of this is possible. So I am going to say thank you for joining us so much, Avivah. Dream well, and may the skies be clear for you. What time will the annular eclipse begin where you are?
Thank you, Pamela. Thank you for having me. And the annular eclipse will be on December 26th, one day after Christmas.
Excellent. Excellent. Um,
Maybe it's still the night of Christmas for you because it's Thursday morning, 26th morning, and it should be 25 December night for you guys.
it will be. And I would love to stream an eclipse on Christmas. So if you get live
Okay.
streaming going, let us know and we will help
I
you get
think
out.
let's discuss about it. I need
Okay.
your help then.
Okay. We can do this. All things are
Okay.
possible together.
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much for being with us, Avivah. I'm now going to switch screens awkwardly because apparently that's the only way I know how to do it. Oh, it
Thank you
won't
so
switch
much.
screens. Why won't it switch screens? Okay, I'm going to be even more awkward apparently. Let's see, does this work? Thank you for the donation. Why won't any of my shortcut keys work? Okay. Sorry, continuing my awkward attempts to figure out why it won't. My software has completely given up. There we go. Now I can clear the screen. Avivah, you're off camera. You're
Thank you.
about to be off camera. I'm going to switch to the rockets for a moment, folks. Happy rockets.